Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Bigger Warriors 2, the 1% Club. I'm waiting to get gas here and at a Costco, and I'm going to kind of do a video while I'm doing this. Once again, thank you for all the subscriptions, comments, likes, those type of things. I really appreciate those things. I think that they kind of make for, especially the comments, they make for good videos and topics. I was asked last night. I had a couple of subscribers and viewers I was talking to in person, and I was talking, and he mentioned that, you have so many great topics, and I said, well, it's really a lot of the viewers are giving topics, and so once again, I appreciate that, and you guys are giving me a lot of them. So we had talked to one about that I think Alan sent me, and now I'm going to go on Pump 20. So Pump 20, a shout out to you. A lot of good questions and comments you're making. Let's focus on one of them that you're talking about. And we're going to talk about this one as far as getting excited, aroused when you are exercising. So let's kind of talk about this a little, because this is one that I think is a concern in some ways to a lot of viewers and people, because I think as you think about releasing and not wanting to release and retaining, you're going to have situations where things happen naturally. And I think that's an important type aspect to kind of look at. So when we look at this, the whole idea, guys, is the fact that you have sexual energy within you. There is no doubt about that. I mean, just think of an animal, for instance. If you got an animal fixed, or you had the animal, went to the doctor, the animal loses a lot of the energy, especially males. If you get the male fixed, like a cat, then you're going to basically kind of subdue that animal. And so we have that energy within us. So whatever you end up doing, activities, those things can always come up. And this is why people talk about nocturnal emissions and things like that. Those things are always going to come up at some point, because you're going to have that energy. I mean, you need to have energy. Even the Fountain of Youth book, Kendler talks about the idea that you need to have energy. For any of this to actually work, you've got to have energy. So the idea is not to try to subdue your energy, not to cut off your energy, those type of things, because you need your energy, especially if you're going to procreate and have children at some point. You need to have energy. So the energy is something that is important. You cannot sit there and kind of drive off your sex drive. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about retention. We talk about is holding it within yourself and going ahead and keeping it in a point and transmuting it to the point where it's benefiting you. And that's the key to the whole thing. So then when you're exercising, and I think Pump 20 talked about like stomach exercises, things like that. You have to remember the chakras and things that you're in are all in the middle of your body. So that energy flow, those vortexes are moving so quickly that, especially if you have a lot of water, types of certain foods you have, if you're sitting there exercising, doing stomach exercises, it's very possible that you may get excited. You may have that energy start to come up. And that's something that does happen. It happens to me. Sometimes when you're meditating, that happens. Sometimes when you're sitting there, all of a sudden you get a thought, an idea comes up, and all of a sudden that's something that is going to get you aroused. Now, what you do at that point is key. So, I mean, you're going to have exercises, you're going to have things that are going to happen to you that you're just going to get aroused. If you have that much sexual energy, and I'm talking some of you guys are in your 18 to 25, 30-year-old, you guys have abundance of energy. Now, at 60, I don't have as much energy that, that I create. That's just the way the human body is. Testosterone levels go down. However, you still after 514, 15 days here, you still have a lot of energy. And so I have to continue watching it myself, because there's times where I would sit there and meditate, and then some thought would come in, and boom, I have to kind of transmute again. And that's the key to the whole thing. So when you're exercising, especially if you're doing like the Fountain of Youth exercises or some sort of other types like sit-ups or stomach type exercises, always remember in your mind Transmute the purpose for what you're doing. You are exercising that core. You're trying to get your six-pack of abs. You're trying to get those things that are going to be strong within yourself in the middle of your core body. You do not need to be thinking about those things. So as soon as that thought comes in, shift it to something else. And this is why focusing is important. If I focus on making $1 million, I'm going to get away from that sexual thought, and I'm going to move right to the $1 million. If I have that sexual thought, I'm going to move it right to the other goal, which is a six-pack of abs. Okay. So those are the types of things that you can do. But yes, to answer Pump's question, Pump's exactly right. Pump 20 is exactly right. I mean, you have sometimes when you're exercising, because you have such an amount of energy. This is why I don't count nocturnal emissions as part of your going against your plan, because those are the type of things that they're going to happen. You know, those type of things are going to happen. So you have to try to go ahead and use energy in a way that's going to transmute in positive, knowing you have a lot of energy. You're going to have a lot of energy. And the key is going to be to try to transmute it away. So, yes, you have to protect yourself against that at all times. Actually, you got to protect yourself all the way through. Because as you're looking at trying to transmute, and you're trying to do that, you're going to have times where those things happen to you and you're not totally sure what to do about it. So I hope this helps a little bit, guys. And Pump 20, thanks a lot for the question. But yes, you have to protect yourself at all times, because you never know when those things are going to happen, where all of a sudden a thought pops in your head or things like that. So I'm going to stop this one short because I have to go get some gas here in a second. But I'm going to drive up a little bit to the pump. But remember, guys, the key is that you want to transmute this energy to the point where it's helping you achieve goals. And, you know, life is going to be that way. You're going to have a bunch of different images, things around you all the time. You have to try to get that moved away from the idea of, okay, you know, I'm going to focus on this, but I'm going to focus not on this, but I'm going to focus on my goals and things like that. All right, so I'm going to get some gas. Until next time, battle on.